world of sports. It's Epsom Day, and Australasia's finest thoroughbreds step out at Royal Randwick to chase a fortune in prize money at Sydney's Spring Racing Carnival. You'll see Magic of Sydney, Toledo and the nation's best 3-year-olds in the Spring Champion Stakes. Plus Saintly, Electronic and Campbell in the Craven Plate. And then we'll sample all the pre-race adrenaline and drama as Volante, All Our Mob and Delinquent head a crack field in the 1996 Epsom Handicap over the famous Randwick Mile. And if that's not enough, exclusive to 9, we'll have 7 magnificent races from Flemington, featuring Doremus, Count Shivers, Poetic King, Storm and Beau Art. From last week's Rugby League thriller, we'll relive all the match-winning moments of the Optus Cup Grand Final and talk to League Supremo Ken Arthurson about the game's future. There's a big preview of the Sydney Swans barnstorming season. Barry Sheene rides in to preview the final 2 rounds of the World Motorcycle Championship. Plus, we'll give you a chance to parade in the winner's circle when we put $5,000 up for grabs in our Memorable Moments giveaway. Yes, the Spring Carnival excitement is bubbling over as we go racing on Epsom Day, right here on the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Welcome to Royal Randwick on Epsom Day 1996. They say all true champions save their very best for the big racing carnivals. Well, that means Max Walker is bound to be in the peak of condition this afternoon. Welcome, Max. You going to spend a bit of money?
I'll probably spend a bit of money, yeah, with a bit of, as Kenny would say, I'll go home with a few bob in my kick.
We're honoured this afternoon to be joined by celebrated trainer Gai Waterhouse, who's had more than her fair share of distractions leading up to today's meeting. Welcome to the show, and you made it here by the skin of your teeth.
I certainly did. I just got in the barrier and I'm feeling now very comfortable.
How do you feel after a fairly tumultuous sort of week, wasn't it?
A very hectic week, but I'm glad they're not all like this.
Tell me, you're confident? You've got, what, a couple of weeks before your appeal comes to before the AJC?
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm confident about my horses today. That's the main thing.
All right, well, tell us about what's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
I reckon you got 4 runners in the Epsom, you got 7 in the Metropolitan. You're going to come up with a winner sooner or later.
Well, I'll have to find a winner somewhere along there. But in the second race, and that's when I kick off, I have 2 runners. One is called Bound by Silence, and the other one is called...
Is that Grey and Gold?
Grey and Gold. And Grey and Gold's by Danehill, and of the 2, I prefer him. He's pretty smart. And I thought they would definitely be good chances for the punters.
What about outside your own stable, though, Gai?
Outside my own stable, I thought, now let me have a look at my thoughts for the day. I thought number 8 in the second race had an excellent chance.
It's Hockney?
Yes.
And, well, let's move it along a bit. I mean, it's Bart Cummings and you. I mean, you're going to be the superstars on the day, and, well, there's a lot at stake. Do you feel the pressure a lot?
Oh, you feel the pressure of big carnivals, but if you're not prepared for the pressure, then you shouldn't be a big-time trainer. It's like pressure when you're in your job. You've got to peak at the right time, and this is what it's all about.
What else are you looking at this afternoon? I mean, we've got punters out there who want, from the #1 trainer, they want to know who's going to win, how they can make a few bucks this weekend.
I think a very interesting race today, where Bart and I come to grips, is in the 5th race, the Craven Plate. It's a weight for age race of $150,000. He has the horse Saintly, who of course will be backing up on Monday in the Metropolitan. I have 2 horses. One's called Adventurous. It's only got 48.5 kilos, and he runs very, very well. The other one, of course, is Electronic. But in the Epsom, the main race of the day, I've got 4 starters, as you said. And I think probably the best value of them will be Flight to Fantasy.
And yet Iron Horse has been doing terrific track work, they tell me. I mean,
well, he has. I put blinkers on him on Thursday, and he really sharpened his work up dramatically. All our mobs...
you wouldn't go away
sell
him short.
No, and of course you've got a horse called Persian Flyer who ran a very bold second here last week.
So do you think being a woman, and you've launched your book recently against all sorts of odds, you say that being a woman's been a huge disadvantage. Somewhere in the line there, it must be an advantage with a smile like that.
I think it is an advantage, but certainly you find that I've just seen a note from your producer that Di's sick. His trainer will be more sick, if that's true.
Well, he's got... No, what he's got, it's not going to worry. He's got a bit of laryngitis.
Oh, that's nothing, but he's not riding with his voice today. I said to him this morning, I said, Shane, you sound awful. awful. He said, don't worry, you can do the speech, Gay.
It is a crucial meeting for you today as the Spring Carnival really starts to unfold. Some big races too down the line in Melbourne. Last year you were the leading trainer. I mean, 29 group wins. I mean, better than Hawkes and Friedman. Do you feel that sometimes you don't really get the kudos that you should for being a trainer as against a lady trainer?
I couldn't get any more kudos at present. I don't know if kudos means publicity or just respect or whatever.
Credibility.
But credibility. Oh, I think I've well and truly got my credibility. I don't think anyone who follows racing doubts my ability to train horses and to train group horses. And I don't think the horses know if I'm a man or a woman. All they know is that I'm training them. So I don't think of myself as a woman on the track. I think of myself as a woman when I'm with my husband or my children and my friends. But when I'm training, I'm a trainer.
And this pace is frenetic. I mean, you just almost jumped up onto the stage, but we had 10 seconds. You flew around the back and jumped up. It's a frenetic pace. Are you always like this? You must be a nightmare to work with.
I am a nightmare to live with, I'll tell you that much.
Now, tell me about Magic of Sydney.
All right, I'm delighted with Magic of Sydney. He's by far the best horse in this race. I think he'll be extremely hard to beat. He's really, really a quality horse. And the most important thing for the punters sitting out here and there and watching us today, he will be great odds. I'm sure he will blow in the betting, and I think he will be great odds.
What about the conditions here today? I mean, you couldn't wish for anything better. This is what you wanted, obviously, what everybody wants, these sort of conditions.
This is Sydney at its best. You've got gorgeous weather, you've got a fabulous crowd, you've got glorious Royal Randwick, and you guys are here.
And Darren Beadman, I mean, a special day for him if he can land a double today. He goes to 1,000 winners.
Well, Darren is an exceptional jockey, he's an exceptional sportsman, and I have no doubt that he will be the jockey to beat on any of these races.
Okay, just before we go, do you get the jockeys you always want?
No, I don't. I wish I could. But I work very closely with my jockeys, and if they don't ride track work and they don't work with me, I don't put them on in the races. So I have a team of men that I work with, and I have great respect for them.
Jockeys, talk about Darren McClellan. Yeah, he's got a little lucky at short notice, hasn't he? Yes,
he certainly has. Glenn Boss was booked to ride Iron Horse, and Darren's got the engagement, but he'll ride him extremely well.
Boy, oh boy, I wouldn't want to mess with Gay Waterhouse.
Straight down the line.
The Wide World of Sports Stable Stars is out in force for Sydney Spring Carnival, wearing the #1 saddle cloth, the Prince of Callers, not a jockey, John Tapp, and with him the Wizard of Odds, Ken Callender.
Thanks a lot, Kenny. Well, Epsom Day 1996, I think, will be Ferlante's day, because I think Ferlante will win his first Group 1 race. He's won Crackerjack Racehorse. I put him right up there with the best horses in the country, alongside Octagonal, alongside Saintly, and alongside Juggler. Sure, he was beaten last week, but in the George Main Stakes that was by Juggler, but there's no Juggler in today's race, and I think you'll find Ferlante will be home first. He's got 57 kilos. I don't think that will be a problem. In the other two big races here today, in the Spring Champion Stakes, I like Magic of Sydney. Now, a few trackmen are bagging him this morning. They claim he worked like a provincial horse on Tuesday morning. But I think it's like a fighter in a gymnasium. He can look good in the gym, but on fight night, if he gets hit on the whiskers, sometimes he gets beaten. Magic of Sydney has produced it on fight night, or should I say race day, and that's why I'm tipping him. I think he'll win, and I think Ebony Grove's his main danger. The other feature race, the Craven Plate, well, that'll be a cakewalk for Saintly. He'll win, and win easily. I think they're the three good things: Magic of Sydney, Saintly, and Ferlante. Johnny Tapp, what do you say?
I've got to agree with you on all counts. Magic of Sydney will be in the deep purple in the Spring Champion Stakes. He certainly looks like winning, but let me say this: if there's a flaw in his makeup, if he puts a foot wrong, or if something goes amiss in the race, the horse to beat him is a Queenslander called Dual Dilemma, who's put together a string of wins. He'll be beautifully ridden by Darren Beadman, and he is capable of a very fast last 600 metres, as he proved in a recent race at Rose Hill. He could be the knockout horse in the Champion Stakes. In the Craven Stakes, it looks as though, or the Craven Plate rather, Saintly shouldn't get out of third gear at any stage in his final hit out for Monday's Metropolitan. And like Ken, I'm a Ferlante fan in the Epsom. The Epsom is a good things race. History has proven that time and time again, and I put Ferlante right up there on a par with horses like Cabochon and Ricochet, Chantal, Imposing, horses that have won Epsoms in a cakewalk, and I think Ferlante can do the same today. I agree with you.
Yeah, our old mate Superimposed won a couple of these, John. He looked pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah, not by big margins though.
But he still won the #1 in the frame.
Yep.
And that's all I want Ferlante to do today. But it's not only Randwick Racing we're featuring today, we're also featuring the big program from Flemington with a few tips on the Flemington card. Here's my old mate, Simon O'Donnell.
Very much, Ken, and isn't it wonderful to see some sunshine We haven't had much sunshine in Melbourne during the winter months. It's a pleasure to be up in Sydney for such a great day on Epsom Handicap Day. I can't wait, and either can a man called Harry Troy. He's going to be our clerk of the course and also a jockey for the day in one of the main races. He's wearing 2 caps. Harry, that's a bit different.
Certainly is, Simon. Yes, throughout the day, me and my old mate Dal Raffin will be bringing you all the latest from behind the barriers and some post-race interviews with the winning jockeys. And about 3:35, I think I'll be hopping aboard Don Tristram in the Champion Stakes and see if I can knock off the Hot Pot Magic of Sydney.
Well, the other big race of the day, the Epsom, what do you like in that?
Well, history is against Volante. 57 kilos hasn't been carried by an Epsom winner since the days of Sky High. Barrier 16, but having said that, I think he's a classy act, and I think he'll just win the race, and you know, he's my selection.
Mate, I look forward to seeing him behind the barriers and also in the silks.
Thanks, mate.
Well, the 2 big races down in Melbourne, one of them is the Turnbull Stakes. It's been a great race for Caulfield Melbourne Cup hopes. Who can forget Let's Elope? I think Doremus has got a great chance of winning it today. And also the Edmund Manifold Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. It's over the mile. Dayro Bay could be a horse that wins a little bit of odds for you. It's going to be a great day from Melbourne and Sydney. Back to you, Max.
Thanks, Simon and Harry. Plenty of chances in Melbourne and Sydney, and along with our big turf coverage, we'll be reviewing last week's Rugby League Grand Final. That's just part of the fun. Still to come on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Wide World of Sports at Royal Randwick on Epsom Day. Got magnificent weather, looking forward to a great afternoon of racing. Thoroughbred action may be dominating the headlines on the first weekend in October, but racing's not the only. Back at Randwick Live, and we've got the Epsom Day and plenty of other good things coming your way. But right now I'd like to introduce to you Craig Nugent, Manager of Betting with the AJC. Welcome to Wide World of Sports on this magnificent day. You've really got a good one running for you this afternoon for the Epsom. But more than that, you've got a gadget there called a Can-Do, which is a new betting device, which for us computer illiterates, is it going to be easy to operate, and can it pick a winner?
Well, that's the idea, Ken. It's yes, it is the Can-Do handheld betting terminal, and it's basically a terminal that allows for full betting and banking facilities using smart card technology and facilitating, as I said, EFTPOS transactions.
Maybe you could describe exactly how you work it. Maybe hold it up to the camera there. Give the punters at home a bit of a look at it and describe what each of these terminals, buttons and screen does.
Okay, Max. At the start of the day, punters will be able to obtain a smart card from a tote counter, so they can either hand over $50 or say $100 or whatever they like to bet for the day. Then they put the account in their smart card account in the bottom of the device, and then from there it's fairly straightforward in terms of you're instructed through the method of placing bets, and basically everything is done as a push of a button, or from a push of a button, and bets go through the system in about 6 seconds.
So give us an example. Race 1 today, we're looking at horse 3.
Yes. Okay, well basically then it's just a matter of keying.
Maybe turn around out there.
Okay.
Yep.
Keying in the numbers of the race, horse number, setting your bet up on the screen. Once you're satisfied with the bet on the screen, you then push the button, push the OK or the send button. It then goes through the airwaves, similar to a mobile phone. The bet goes into the tote system, back to the device, all in 6 seconds.
Gives you the odds?
No, it gives you information about your bet, which is written straight to your smart card, which is your tote account betting card.
And you fix it up at the end of the week, the end of the month, or whenever the account comes out?
At the end of the day, you can get your money back through the tote, or if you haven't had any luck, well, that's it.
So how does it actually work? I mean, in terms of, is it like a wireless? Is it like
yes, it's
that sort of technology?
Wireless technology, and it's as I said, it's the same as a mobile phone. It looks like a mobile phone. It goes through the wireless network the same way, and that's basically it.
Now, tell me, are they going to be available? Can you buy them, or are you going to hire them out? What's the basis of getting hold of them?
Ken, we're going to have them in dining rooms and restaurants and in corporate marquees. They'll be available in the betting ring. As you know, a lot of punters like to bet in the last minute, so you'll be able to set your bets up on the screen in the last seconds before betting closes or before a race jump, and then push the button at the last minute. So it has some usage both to just once-a-year race goers, but also to professional punters who, you know, are betting large amounts of money at the last minute, who are rushing to tote windows, comparing the odds between tote and bookies and so on.
I tell you what, it's a changing world that we live in. I tell you what, you never quite know what's going to happen in this technology race of ours. Craig, thank you very much. It's called Can Do. In about 3 or 4 weeks' time, it should be up and running.
That's
and
right.
Out there running, of course, we've got Andrew Voss, and I believe that he's with Bart Cummings at the moment. Andrew.
Well, what's shaping is a big couple of days, big few days for Bart Cummings. What about, first of all, Saintly?
Well, it's the start of the Spring Carnival here in Sydney, and Epsom Day is always a great day to win a race because the prize money is very good and all the top horses are out. Saintly has done very well during the week, and I think he's very short odds in the Craven Plate today, but that's expected, I suppose. His forms are very good leading up to today, and he's expected to win. I expect him to probably win today and have a very good chance in the Metropolitan on Monday.
Well, with the Metropolitan in mind, what will you be looking for Saintly to do today? Is there anything that could disappoint you?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to get beat. I think he's 4's on, so although it's a sort of race you'd expect him to win on his form.
All right, Dashing Eagle, beaten by Assertive last start. Why will today be different?
Well, I only hope it is. But Assertive ran a great race last start. She took off at the turn and it was impossible to catch her. They ran great fractions. Today, I suppose, being a mile here at Randwick will suit her much better, a bigger track. She's trained here naturally, and I think she'll get the mile probably very well, and she looks pretty good to me. I think he gave her too big a start last week, but I think the winner was a little bit underrated.
All right, Bart, and finally for the Epsom, the chances of Catalan opening, the reports we've had, really working the house down.
He's been working very well, you can't deny that, but he's yet to win the standard of race, so he's reasonably weighted, I suppose. He's not thrown in, but he's got a chance at the weights. He looks the part, and he's a good odds of about 5 to 1, I suppose. A good each way bet, I'd reckon, but it's a very hard race for Landy's. Sensational win when he won Group 2 the other day, so he's the horse we all got to beat.
All right, Bart, appreciate your time. All the best today.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Bart Cummings, will he be smiling at the end of the day? OK, we're close to a start in race 1 at Flemington. Here's Ken Callender.
Yeah, thanks very much, Max. We're just about ready for the first at Flemington. I've got my old mate Simon O'Donnell here who's going to tip me the winner, I hope. What do you think, Simon?
Well, let's hope I can, Ken. Look, there's a few horses in the betting, Mustang Ranch, Litmus, but the horse I like is number 5, Jugulator. I think it was pretty unlucky at its last start at Moonee Valley. Darren Gauci to ride, Robert Smurden the trainer. I think it's got a very good show. OK,
we'll see how it goes. Jugulator. Here's the latest TAB prices or approximate prices on the Victorian tab. Mustang Ranch showing at $7, Litmus at $5.50, Prattler at $14, Angel's Image at $11, Jugulator Simon's tip $5, that'll be good for us. My Boy Tommy, what a name for a horse. He's got out a bit in the market. Young Eddie Wilkinson, former Kiwi, now based in Queensland's riding him. He's at $9. Spring Air is a scratching. I thought Stephen Kingsmount, Strange Addiction, had a chance. Successful at the Valley last start. He's showing about $12. Latilla at $26 for $1 investment. Bye Bye Buster. I hope it's not bye-bye today. $21 for those who back him. Geronic, $26. Oraculo at $12. Our Imposing, $21. Moonlight Place was scratched this morning. Truistic at $126. Tennessee Rhythm is also a roughie. Artistic Rose likewise, but about half the price of the other two at about $61. And Sea Outlaw was scratched this morning. Okay, as we pick up Vision, looks like a horse without a rider there. TAB number 16, which is Tennessee Rhythm. It apparently broke through the barrier. Well, it's not going to cause a lot of bother if it's scratched because it's about a 60 to 1 chance on the TAB. Simon, bit of rain, a bit of water lying around in your main home track.
Yes, haven't we turned it on for today, the Epsom Day here in Sydney under beautiful sunshine. And Melbourne, when we left this morning, we were on an early flight up here this morning to get ready for the big Epsom Day, and the great coverage we're going to show you from Melbourne of the Turnbull Stakes, and the rain started tumbling down. Now, Andrew Payne was aboard Tennessee Rhythm. It's come back with the clerk of the course. Obviously will take no further part in the race, so 16 will be a late scratching. They're starting to go in, and I think on that screen, Ken, we can see it's not getting any brighter in Melbourne either.
Typical Melbourne weather, as us Sydney siders would say. It's still pouring. You can see all the attendants in jackets. This starts at the 1800 metre point, and really inside alleys are a little bit of an advantage there, even though they've got a bit of a run before the first turn. You'd still prefer to be drawn in a good alley. Simon's Jugulator, if you're looking for him, races in red, green and white stripes, and he's ridden by Darren Gauci, and he's trained up at Ballarat by Robert Smurden. And Jugulator, as Simon said, is a recent winner at Sandown in heavy going, so the water won't hurt him, Simon. No,
the water won't hurt him, and if he's not used to water in Ballarat, he never will be, because it's a pretty cold, wet place in Western Victoria. It's only about an hour and a half out of Melbourne, and I can assure you they have plenty of that precipitation we're seeing on screen. Look, it's a real pity that the rain's come. It was a good track this morning. It's been downgraded to dead. If this continues, I'm sure we're going to see it'll be downgraded even further.
Might help your old mate Doremus in the Turnbull Stakes, eh?
Certainly will. I look forward to watching the first 3 or 4 and seeing if those horses coming from behind are making ground. I'm sure from his alley today they're going to drop him well back, well off the pace, and hope he can come down the middle of the Flemington Straight and win the Turnbull Stakes.
That's Strange Addiction just going in there with the pink sleeves, with the yellow cap. The horse I spoke of, he's a grey gelding. He's also trained up at Ballarat, and Stephen King to ride him. Okay, looks like we've only got about one more to match up. And that looks like Mustang Ranch in the white and red colours there. Simon Marshall's mount. Hello, there's something here. It is coming forward now. Mustang Ranch, isn't it? No, it's not. It's Jugulator. No, it's not Jugulator, is it? Or is it? Yep.
Yes,
it is. It certainly is. So Darren Gauci's had him down well behind the barrier.
It's just that rain makes them look like different colours.
Okay, well, Jugulator takes his place in line. Let us take our place in line. Cross to Flemington to our caller, John Russell. Here he is.
Artistic Rose stands up well. Jugulator, Bye Bye Buster. Lights on, they're off. And Litmus on the inside was the first to bound out from Juronic, who commenced well, and out quickly also Jugulator. And Prattler going very fast to head them off in the early stages. Bye Bye Buster also got out pretty well, followed by Artistic Rose, and Strange Addiction going around them quickly up towards the leader. A length further back then is Truistic, being followed by Latilla, and further back in the field Angel's Image, followed by Our Imposing. And last of all is Oraculo, and Mustang Ranch is second last. Around the back 1400 metres out, and Prattler is the leader. About a length to Strange Addiction, 2 lengths further back in third place Jugulator on the inside of My Boy Tommy. They're followed by Truistic. Further back on the rails is Litmus in company with Bye Bye Buster. A length and a half further back then is Angel's Image. Close up behind them is Geronic. Further back in the field then around the outside Mustang Ranch with Our Imposing. Latilla second last, and Oraculo is last of all. Down the side they race, and Prattler in charge of the 1000. Led by a length to Strange Addiction, who's second. 2.5 lengths further back in third place on the rails Jugulator getting a nice run. Truistic moving up just behind them, and they were followed by My Boy Tommy. Then Bye 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 Buster a length away. Litmus on the inside of Artistic Rose, followed by Geuronic, Angel's Image, behind them Low Tiller. Then a gap to Mustang Ranch, 2 lengths to Our Imposing second last, and Oraculo is last of all. Down near the home turn, 650 to run, and Prattler on the inside being tackled for the lead by Strange Addiction. They're about a length and a half to Jugulator in the box seat. Deeper on the track is Truistic, very wide as Bye Bye Buster as they enter the straighter. Litmus over on the inside looking for a run behind them, and Mustang Ranch is starting to run home well from a fairway bagger. And then there's a break to Oraculo as they run down inside the final 400 metres. Prattler still in front, about to be tackled by Jugulator, and Mustang Ranch is down the outside rattling home, and then Oraculo from a long way back. Now the leader still is Prattler at the 200 metre mark, is holding Jugulator. Mustang Ranch running on down the outside, and they're followed by Low Tiller, and further back is Litmus. Here's Jugulator coming at Prattler in the final stages. Prattler fighting on, Prattler still in front. Prattler hangs on to score from Jugulator. Low Tiller's run third. Fourth is Litmus, followed by Mustang Ranch and a gap Oraculo. Geuronic is back behind them, followed by My Boy Tommy. Further back in the field then came Angel's Image, followed by Strange Addiction. Artistic Rose behind them, followed next home by Truistic, and Bye Bye Buster, and last home Our Imposing.
Well, I thought Simon was going to get the money there with Jugulator, Darren Gauci, but his old mate, the big G Hall, on Prattler for Lee Freedman, just kept finding too much, Simon.
Yeah, it was a beaut ride, wasn't it? That horse has just led all the way. It's been perfectly timed. Jugulator had every chance of picking him up. G Hall there has got Prattler well under the whip. He's going to cut it in half and make sure it gets to the line. It got to the line very well. The challenge of Jugulator had nearly gone by this stage, and I think Prattler held him in the last probably 50 to 70 metres. An excellent ride, a good win by that horse.
Yeah, and running third there over near the inside in the red cap is Latilla. And down the outside, that was Mustang Ranch, who's going to run officially fourth. But you'll find there'll be no doubt about the placings. It'll be 3 Prattler first, 5 Jugulator second, 9 Latilla third, as we take our first break from racing on this special edition of the Wide World of Sports.
Okay, time to check the first at Flemington. The numbers you needed were 3, 5 and 9. 3 Prattler paid $11 and $3.70. Second place $1.90, and look at that, third place paid $6.80. Victorian dividends there. Okay, there's a fortune on offer for connections of winning horses at Sydney Spring Carnival, and the good news is that you too could be amongst the cash today in our Memorable Moments giveaway.
Right, there they are behind the barrier for the first race, a 1,200 metre 3-year-old sprint for fillies. And let's have a look at what prices they are. Number 1, White Queen is favourite, Darren Beedman's mount, getting out to $3.30. Zojo at $17, $11 Only Love, $26 Gestress, $6.50 Tipsy Feeling, $31 Like a Plum. I've backed Ekathea, she'll lead for sure. She just might need a heart transplant halfway down the straight. She's at $10. Amplitude $9.50. Law of Logic $17. Tragic Star, that I double check that, into $10 now. Marflight $6.50. Zabilsville at $101. The rider of the favourite is Darren Beedman. We spoke with Darren earlier in the day to see what he thought of the track at Randwick this afternoon.
Well, we've got a glorious day out here at Royal Randwick. The weather fine, track good, and the rail in the normal position. Racecourse manager John Jeffs has given this track every opportunity to perform at its best. As you can see for yourself, the track is in fine order, and we're expecting a bumper crowd out here today.
Okay, that was Darren Beedman. Harry Troy, you're over behind the barrier. Come in, Harry.
How are you, Kenny?
I'm well, thank you, Harry. Anything catch your eye over there?
Well, yeah, Ken, I do like the look of your tip, number 7, Ekathea. I've seen plenty of her in the provincial circuit. Very speedy mare. She'll be in front for a long way. A bit like you, I'm a bit concerned over the last 100 metres today, but she looks very, very well, and I've made her my first selection, number 7, Ekathea. The second, I've gone number 11, Marflight, the Clary Connors trained filly, ridden by Lenny Beasley. I think she looks well. Her last start, a very good winner at Canterbury. And for third, I put the favourite in, White Queen. Not a bad first up run behind City Devil at Warwick Farm, and she just looked very well and nicely drawn.
Okay, thanks very much, Harry. Simon O'Donnell, Harry Troy's helping us out as usual today. Well-known jockey who will be behind the barrier for us every race except the Champion Stakes, when he'll actually be riding Don Tristram. Simon, quickly, anything you like?
Yeah, Tipsy Feeling looked well in the yard, so did White Queen, but I'm going to stick with Only Love, the 3, at value.
Okay, and I'm on Ekathea. They're nearly all in. I saw Tipsy Fielding going in late oops, hello. There's a couple broken through. Gee whiz, number 2 or 12 is that? Well, it can't be 12, I think it is. Is it 12 or 2? We'll soon tell you, Simon. What's it got? Blinkers on? Or they haven't? It's 12, I think. Zabilsville, who's a 100 to 1 chance. So if something had to bolt, I suppose it was better than one of the favourites. Zabilsville, Bay Filly racing in blinkers. I'm sure that's got to be her.
Yeah, we saw the clerk of the course come across and try and catch that filly. I suppose you wouldn't like a fully fledged racehorse with